And here's what bothers me is everybody bends over so backwards to praise what's going on WWE right now, whether it's good or not. It's just because it's on WWE TV, it's awesome. And what bothers me is that TNA has like sacrificed its own stuff for for bad NXT television. What they did to Joe Hendry, like you got a guy legitimately over in Joe Hendry with your audience, and you taking a guy who should have been a digital media act, and he should be the champion right now, and they bushwhacker Luked him.
I couldn't believe it. I legitimately could not believe what happened to Joe Hendry on Wednesday. And I came on Brace for Impact over the weekend, and I basically predicted that Joe Hendry would be in that battle royal. They were teasing it for a while, so it wasn't like a big surprise. He wasn't advertised, but I assumed that he would be there. And I was like, you know what? He'll probably come in. He'll have a great entrance. The people go crazy, which they did. That entrance was insane. The crowd was awesome. The camera was shaking. The building was shaking. They sang along with his song. TNA is very over to the NXT audience, believe it or not. They really are. And NXT is not over to the TNA audience, because when Tatum Paxley came out for her match with Jordynne Grace, it was utter crickets, and Jordynne Grace beat her in 10 minutes. And it actually was a decent match. I think that Tatum Paxley might have some talent. So that
I think Jordan can carry people because she's a talent.
But I've seen Jordan struggle with people that aren't that good before. So I'm not going to say Tatum's completely a bad wrestler. That was the only match I've ever seen her in, to be honest with you. I like, before the match happened, you and I were discussing whether or not she was an actual person. She is a real person. And she happened to have a decent match with Jordynne Grace. But anyway, he comes out, and I get a text. Like, I'm at work, and I get a text, and it's like, oh shit, Joe Hendry's on NXT. I was like, oh cool, I'll check it out later. And then I get a text 2 minutes later, they fucking eliminated him. And then I got another text, I can't believe what they just did to Joe Hendry. And I'm like, what did they do? And they go, he entered, everybody jumped him, and the Kazarian dumped him out. I was like, you're kidding me. There's no way they're that stupid. But yes, they are. And I know everybody wants to put that heat on NXT, who has some pretty awful booking, but I don't want to absolve TNA from this, because I feel like they're a part of that, because they have to okay that shit. And so both of them together made a really bad decision, and everybody's like, oh, Mike, he's not completely dead yet. His career is not over yet. He's not dead yet. It doesn't matter if they can rebuild him. They should not have to rebuild him. He should stay strong. He is their top babyface, and organic babyface that they didn't have to buy from another fucking company. It's like the first one that they've ever had a homegrown star in a long time. And what did they do? They geeked him out in a minute in front of the biggest audience he's ever been in front of. It is disgusting.
You want to talk about defining someone down upon the first time. Like, because you're right. I watched it. I saw it. When I heard it, I had to put it on, because I'm like, oh shit, Joe Hendry on NXT. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw what they did. I'm like, of course. Like, but look what TNA has been doing with him. They had him jobbed to Frankie at the pay-per-view. No reason for that. Remember when Steve Austin was on the come up and he did a bunch of jobs?
Yeah. The only person that Austin lost to on his come up was Brett.
Yeah.
Like Brett or Undertaker or Shawn Michaels, but they were like top guys. And look, I think Frankie's a really good wrestler. And I think he does a great job. He has really good matches. He shouldn't be losing to Frankie. And everybody's like, well, Frankie cheated to win. I was like, okay.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like, and they're like, why are you so upset? I was like, because they got a guy. They have an opportunity here. He is like, he could be their John Cena, lower level, of course, because TNA doesn't have the reach, but he really could be like a guy for them, like a John Cena, like a Bruno, like Cody. Like, he needs to be this super, like, over baby face that you keep strong at all times, and when he loses, it means something. And he lost to Frankie Kazarian in the middle of a TNA Plus show, and they used the Tito Santana, Macho Man, Randy Savage 1986 finish, where Frankie Kazarian was on the outside of the ropes. He digs into his tights, grabs out the taped metal object, and he swings at Joe Hendry. Hendry ducks. He does the big 180. Joe Hendry picks him up for a back suplex, and then wham, right in the nose. Like, that's the same thing that Randy Savage did to Tito Santana. So I can respect bringing back the classics, okay? But come on. You guys are killing me. And then he gets eliminated in a minute in front of the biggest audience that he's ever been in front of. Now, look, Joe Hendry's over the moon right now. He thinks the whole thing was great. He has like the most viewed video on WWE's Twitter account since WrestleMania. It's the most viewed Instagram reel. It's breaking records. Thankfully, WWE has not, as far as I know, not clipped the elimination and showed that everywhere. They've only shown the entrance. But man, was that disappointing. I honestly don't get it. I don't understand it.
We got to look at this whole thing, right? WWE told their audience that Joe Hendry is a joke.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what they did. They said this guy is a joke. And you mentioned the Tito Santana Randy Savage finish from the night. That's the Intercontinental title match, 1985.
Yeah.
Who was that finish built to build?
Randy.
Who was that was finish was to get Randy the title and to define Randy Savage as the champion, right? He was going to be a heel champion for the IC title. This finish, they used the same finish and built Frankie. Like, remember when you talk about Bruno? You know, Bruno did a lot. He fucking won.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan did a lot when he was winning, when he was the champ. He fucking won.
Yep.
Like, when you have a top baby face, they win. Like, all you've done is just tell people he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's just a joke, which I don't understand. I don't understand when you get it. And again, you could think, like, I know Joe and Rich call him a jag, but I mean, like, for the TNA audience, he's a thing. But TNA guys that are used to such bad fucking, I said it, bad fucking booking for decade upon decade, I said it, then you accept this. Like, this doesn't matter that he lost. Yeah, it's why your company is what it is. Because of bad fucking booking and because you accept it and you take it and you don't say, hey, this is fucking stupid. And that was fucking stupid.
It was beyond stupid. Nobody will ever be able to defend it. People have tried because they try to take up for TNA and they come at me in the comments. I had one guy, and this was just one guy, so I don't think this is a complete thing with the TNA audience, but I had one guy use the line, and I can't believe he said it. He said, well, wins and losses don't matter, Mike. You're too mad about this. And I'm like, bro, okay, well then maybe he should just keep losing since they don't matter. And Bound for Glory is very likely going to be in the UK. And Joe Hendry is very likely to be in the main event of Bound for Glory up against Moose. I still think that's the direction. Because I'll be honest, JD, I don't think they're actively trying to sabotage him. I think they think that's good booking. I think they think that they're building heat for a Hendry Kazarian match coming up at Slammiversary, where Hendry's going to overcome the odds and beat Kazarian of all people, and then go on to face Moose at Bound for Glory. I think they think that that is good, right? And that's the most disappointing thing because they don't understand that it's bad. They just don't get it, right? But somebody told me, it's like, well, wins and losses don't matter. Okay, well maybe Kazarian should beat Hendry at Slammiversary, and then maybe Hendry should just lose it in the UK since it doesn't matter. You moron. Of course wins and losses matter. You need your top babyface to be strong. Now, look, not every babyface has to be that way. There are different types of babyfaces. Bryan Danielson can win and lose. He's essentially bulletproof at this point. He's he's a different kind of character. Joe Hendry is 6'2". He says 252 pounds. He's probably 240, but he's a big guy, muscular guy, and he very much looks and acts like a John Cena type, a young John Cena type, or not young. He's older than John Cena was when John Cena was coming up, but he could be that character, but they don't want him to be that. Instead, they keep him as a joke. They're just like, they're treating him like he's just another dude. And I think they're blowing it so far, but he is so charismatic. He's such a good promo. He's probably overcoming the bad booking, and he's probably still going to be over anyway. But they don't. It doesn't need to be bad. They can just be good.
That's the problem. Is like, we shouldn't have to have talent overcome bad booking all the time.
Yes,
we should just book good. You should just book guys well. You should just protect your top babyface. You should just have a guy. Hey, we got a guy. Let's build him. Because who else is the top babyface? Who else do you have?
Well, yeah, right now, like the top baby, if you're asking me right now, like who is the biggest star in the company, it's Jeff Hardy. Just the problem is I just don't think he's allowed to go to Canada. So it's like, you can't.
Well, okay. And that's the problem with Jeff Hardy, though, is like, and again, AEW took a flyer on him, WWE took a flyer on him. Both companies wound up regretting it.
Yeah.
Because he's still Jeff Hardy. Yeah. And now he's a 48-year-old Jeff Hardy. Is he going to be over? Yeah. He should just do tag stuff with Matt. He did not look, neither one of them looked good in the ring during their AEW run. And he's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy will walk out there and he'll have people eating out of his hand because there's nobody with that type of charisma and presence.
especially that TNA audience, they love that guy so much. Like our buddy Andre, Patreon subscriber, shout out Andre, was there. He won't admit it, but I get the feeling he cried when he saw Jeff Hardy because he was like 6 years old the first time he saw Jeff in TNA, and so like it was super important to him. Like Jeff Hardy is awesome. Like him and Matt are perfect for TNA. But like, yeah, you're right. Who else is that? Like they got Josh Alexander. I think Mike Santana. I know, but you're right. They have done that. Mike Santana. Maybe as far as like over guys that's getting a reaction from the crowd, he's very much like right up there with Joe Hendry and Josh Alexander and those guys. Of course, they got Nick Nemeth. I think they're flipping Steve Macklin babyface, but they tried with Macklin and they failed with him before because guess what?
Because they can't.
They decided not to put him. They had him lose to Alex Shelley. and what's Alex Shelley doing now?
Yeah, that's a great question. What is Alex Shelley? What the Gun's supposed to be going to AEW like 3 months ago? That's weird. That's the thing. They don't book well. They don't remember when they had Josh, when Josh got really hot and they immediately had him job to Moose and they did nothing with it for 6 months.
Well, yeah, but
that was bad, Mike. That was bad.
But I'm telling you, but the Rebellion match, the payoff in the end, I did like. I did like the Rebellion match that they did the following year.
Why did it have to
they continue to sell the story,
why did it have to be 6 months? Why did Scott D'Amore have to make the whole thing about him? Why did he make stupid? Why was it? I'm saying, okay. I'm not saying you got the result, but why did the booking have to be so bad and nonsensical?
I think you answered your own question. Why did Scott D'Amore have to make it about himself? Well, that's why Scott D'Amore is on the unemployment line right now.
Okay, fair, but they're still doing it. And that's the problem. It's like it doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter who's there. They shoot themselves in the foot when they get guys over. Like there was no reason. Why wasn't Josh mad the next fucking day? Why did we wait 6 months for him to finally get that match with Moose? I unplugged my headphones. It made absolutely no sense at the time. And like in retrospect, yeah, he eventually got it, but we had 6 months of like nothing with Bohr. It didn't make any sense then. It doesn't make sense now. And Scott's actions made no sense in retrospect.
Yeah, none. Because Scott, I'm trying to remember exactly how it was going down, but Scott was like putting obstacles in Josh's way, and they're both baby faces. He's like, I'm doing this. This is for your own good. Now, instead of getting Moose, you have to wrestle Jonah, which was an awesome match, by the way. But like, why did it happen?
That's the problem. Remember, we kept saying on Brace for Impact, I kept saying Scott's going heel. Everything Scott's doing makes total sense if he's protecting Moose. And they didn't do that. That made no sense.
Oh my God. What a time to be alive. That was
Dude, that was me every week on Brace for Impact, was I would try to make sense of that booking and just yell into the microphone when nothing made sense.
Yeah, and like 3 of those guys, well, Artie Evans and Jimmy Jacobs are now in AEW, and Will Ospreay is saying they need Scott D'Amore in AEW too, so.
No.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I didn't want to go on a long diatribe on TNA tonight because, dude, TNA dominated our YouTube last week. Good numbers, by the way. But
sometimes you got to go back to what works.
yeah. Here, let's get to the chat here. I got some hazing going on. Nonzo says, Mike, you have fucking Dreamer in TNA booking. What did y'all expect?
He's right.
Yeah. John Muta said a lot of bookers get sold on the idea that it's better to gain through losing, like it proves something. Sometimes the right answer is to put the person over. So, okay, so that can be true in some sense. It depends on how the person loses. Frankie got the victory. Okay. They're probably building to a second match. I don't agree with it, but okay, I get it. Okay. If unfortunately right after that match, what they did is they shot an angle to have Kazarian wrestle Ace Steel in Chicago. So it made it look like Ace Steel was the bigger baby face, and Ace Steel was the hero, not Joe Hendry. And then you get to the Battle Royal, and what really should have happened, right? If they had their booking minds on, what really should have happened, because Joe Hendry should not have won that Battle Royal. He's not going to go fight the NXT champion. He's not going to do that, right? What should have happened is he should have eliminated Kazarian first. Kazarian's the heel, right? And then Kazarian sneaks back in later in the match whenever Hendry's on the final 4. Hendry's is distracted. Kazarian sneaks back in and then throws him over. And then now you've just shot an angle for a TNA show that you can connect over onto TNA, right? Like you shot it on NXT, but instead what they did is Joe Hendry comes out, he trashes everybody in the Battle Royal, and then and he gets in, everybody attacks him like he's the heel. Now Joe Hendry's the heel in this scenario, and then fair and square, Kazarian dumps him out like he's a nobody. Like that's what happened. But instead, like they could have done a good angle, but they chose not to do it. They did a bad one.
Mike, did you expect WWE to book someone else's star well?
You would think if they were partners, but no. It's like
history tells me no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, maybe somebody should write a article about that. I think.
Someone does have a Patreon who needs articles.
Yeah. Let's see. Transferring. He said Matt's trying to get him and Jeff back into WWE already. Yeah. Look, there. I don't think that WWE is going to take them back unless it's for a Hall of Fame induction.
I agree.
Which they can do while working for TNA, but they're very much not signing a TNA contract because they want to go back to WWE. Every like TNA is like that guy that like every girl that comes into his life doesn't want to be in a relationship. They go on a couple of dates. The next thing you know, that girl's in a relationship. That's the way it always happens with TNA. But look, TNA is a mid-sized company. Like that's kind of, and I think TNA is important to the wrestling business. They feed the ecosystem, and it's really important for guys like Matt and Jeff to have a landing spot when they're on the downside of their career. I think it's awesome that they're in TNA, and they shouldn't sign a contract for more than a couple of years because eventually they're going to want to go back to one of the bigger companies. But I think it's cool that we have a TNA where guys on the guys that are coming up and guys that are kind of on the downside of the career have a place to go and they can get regular money. I think TNA is cool for that stuff.
TNA is like a rebound chick.
Basically. King of North said Mike Santana. Honestly, King, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. I know people don't like Mike Santana because he left AEW, and that hurts people's feelings. I get that. He wasn't happy in AEW. There's too many people at the top of that card. He wasn't going to break through it, so now he's trying somewhere else. He has been very good since he's been in TNA. He's been an impressive guy, and his promo work is great. And he's had they put out a documentary on him with George Barbosa from the Fight Network. It was really good. He comes off as just like a guy you want to root for. So AEW fans, you're all wrong about Santana. DJ Convoy said, Mike, when you said Jeff was their biggest star, I laughed. Look, TNA is a small company, and Jeff could be a top star and like one of the more famous guys in any company right now. He was legitimately the top star in the business like 10 years ago or like 12 years ago when he was in WWE before he went back. Yeah, 15. Like he comes in immediately night one. He's the most famous guy there.
He is 100% their biggest star. Like he's Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Like say what you want. He's Jeff Hardy.
Yeah. If he goes to MLW, same thing. NWA, same thing. GCW, same thing. Anywhere outside of AEW and WWE, he's the biggest star. That's not an indictment on TNA. TNA is a small company. People got to stop comparing them to AEW and WWE. Illa said, we got Josh and Jonah, but the rest was trash. Yeah. Absolutely. They just did Kaz and Ace Steel on TV in a street fight in Chicago. Chicago. I don't know if it was any guy. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't actually watched it yet. So hopefully it was good because I got to do a podcast about it later this weekend. Okay. Oh, you know what? We're overtime already, but we'll leave on this. Shane McMahon to AEW. Shit's gonna be wild.
That's not what that said. That said he was now again because it's not written very clearly. It sounded like Shane McMahon was calling people up to come back to WWE. I don't know where this whole Shane McMahon to AEW thing comes from. It said he was calling guys. Yeah, but he said that he was calling them to come back to WWE. He didn't say he was going to AEW. Like that's reading.
I think Jim Ross said he wouldn't be surprised. Like nothing would surprise him at this point for him to show up in AEW. But I don't think that's happening. But I did see, like in one of the Voices of Wrestling chats that we're in, and I think I've seen it on Twitter, like a couple of people, not many people, but there are some people that are kind of like talking himself into how like that could be interesting. And I'm like, you guys, you're such homers. But anyway, guys, we got to get out of here because JD and I have some more recording to do. We got to go head over to the Patreon. So patreon.com/the Mike and JD show. Head over there. We're going to do the Who Killed WCW. We got some stuff coming out. We're going to record some more content for you. Also, check out the JD's Kickstarter and become a Gaijin supporter today, everybody. Support Gaijin today. We'd greatly appreciate it. Look, just drop a 5 spot like I did, man. That's an easy way to help out the book.
$5 for an ebook.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us this time. And until next time, mahalo.
Competition starting to get thick. It's the click, so I hope you work your A game. Amen. No rain on the track when we unite and spit. This is an A game. Better bring your A game. Competition starting to get thick. It's the click. so I hope you watch your A game. Ain't made no rain.